Good afternoon. Welcome to GrainTV. It's Tuesday the 24th. We had a mixed day of trade. Let's take a look at the Grain Hedge trading app for where the market closed today. In corn, we were off 1 cent a bushel, and in Chicago wheat, also down a penny. But in Chicago on the soybean market, we were up sharply with a 15.5-cent gain. Cody, we've got some news out of Brazil that gave the market a lightning today. What happened?
Well, first of all, down in Brazil, it looks as though truckers are striking, and not only striking, but also blocking the roads down there. They're parking on the side of the roads, and it is causing flow of traffic to slow down, causing really disruption not only in the flow of grain to ports, but also in the flow of fuel out to these smaller towns, such that producers can go out there and have the fuel necessary to harvest. So the bottom line right now is that though the ports have not been significantly affected in terms of slowing the pace of loading ships, if this continues, it will affect those ports, and we could see delays. Right now, obviously, there are delays at a country level, both in getting grain out of the field and in getting fuel to producers here. So this is a serious concern. It doesn't seem to be extremely well organized. It doesn't seem to have a head to this, or some sort of union that's negotiating here. It's basically a bunch of truckers that are ticked off about an increase in diesel fuel taxes, and they obviously are trying to do something about it.
Right. And Cody, we saw much higher soybean prices than where we closed. We were actually up 28 cents a bushel at one point during the trade session. What's interesting is, I think during this really high elevated price rally, we did see basis start to weaken. I think we're starting to see farmers selling after the lows of about a month and a half ago. So we've had the market come up, we've had basis holding up pretty strong, but today with this really high run up, we saw basis coming down quite sharply. Crushing plants were off about a nickel to a dime in the Midwest, especially in the western corn belt of Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota. River terminals are still holding up pretty good, but the end users seem to have gotten a fair shot of injection of soybeans right now, because we are seeing that basis back off.
Absolutely. And this trade session was very interesting because not only did we spike up sharply, but then we also saw this organized selling pattern after we reached the highs of the day. Like you were saying, to me, that tells me that we may have seen a lot more farmers selling out there. I think probably some stops were hit as soon as we went over the previous highs, 10.16, and so it just led to a very volatile trade session here today in the soybean complex.
Right. Now in wheat, we did close down a penny, but we actually got some good fundamental news today out of wheat, and that was the Egypt buying U.S. wheat from the old crop supply. Cody, what were the numbers out of that?
Absolutely. Well, we saw Egypt buy about 290,000 metric tons here of U.S. wheat, so that's very positive. This comes on really the announcement last week that they were tendering for U.S. wheat, and then they cancel it on Wednesday. They said, look, the prices are exaggerated. We're going to look elsewhere. They ended up buying French wheat. Now they're back in the market. They purchased some wheat here from the U.S. To me, this is kind of a flash in the pan. It doesn't necessarily signal a start of a new trend of foreign buyers coming to the U.S., buying up U.S. wheat, because we were still relatively expensive on the global market. When you look at the prices here, U.S. wheat averaged around $273 per ton there, $273 per ton, when the French wheat earlier on, or last week, was around 240. So right now we're still expensive, but I think Egypt trying to make do or make use out of that $100 million credit there provided by the U.S., and I think it did help out prices earlier on today. Unfortunately, we saw a little bit of selling pressure to close out the day.
And I think the market continues to recognize there's really strong global supplies. We've been getting decent moisture in the southern plains, which has been dry. Those winter storms that have been blowing through Texas and Oklahoma and Kansas are really helping improve the moisture profile there. So right now there's just nothing, even this little bit of fresh news on the bullish side is not enough really to turn the tide here that's pushing the market lower.
Absolutely. Guys, today was a very interesting and volatile day in the market. If you have any questions about what we talked about today, give us a call. The number's 877-472-4607. If you haven't done so yet, take a 14-day free, no obligation trial of our trading platform. You'll be able to monitor positions, view live quotes, all in the palm of your hand on your mobile platform. And you'll also be able to see really what it's like to be able to manage positions very quickly, very easily, and effectively from your home computer. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you here on Wednesday.